Hey guys, this is Archie Punnett of Top Tier Tiers, coming to you live. Well, live, I don't know, I feel pretty dead. Coming to you dead from,
In front of a live
I'm really
studio
dead. But we're
audience.
doing the ban list. Yeah. Do I have a live studio audience? That would be incredibly terrifying. Look, either way, we'll come to you with a fresh new perspective on the ban list and our ever so fun tier list. Look, after reviewing the last few videos and how chaotic they were, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They were probably quite fun to listen to for people who weren't there. Um, Someone here made an executive decision to limit the number of guests we would have on the show,
It
and
was
look,
me.
fair enough. I think that's yes, it was him, and I think it very reasonable given we do want to do this in a timely fashion. Not everyone has 3 hours to throw away on us rambling. So before we begin, I do want to quickly shout out to everybody that I may or may not have promised could come on, or who thought they may be on the show, but ultimately, well, they're not because they're not here. So in no particular order, Seldom B, Mr. Runner Up, keep on plugging at it. UA Peng, Mr. Penguin 420, the ex-world champion himself. Congratulations on your bubble. The Night Shadow, Brent Olitz, sorry, buddy. Is there anyone else that? Look, I'm sure I'm going to forget somebody. Everybody who's in the Discord and shit posts, I love you all. Um, and I would have offered Wibbs to be on here, but he's at the gym, so fuck that guy. Either way, with that out of the way, look, I probably forgot you specifically. Yes, I'm talking to you. So feel free to jump on Discord and yell at me. We're always there, and I'm usually there, and you can yell at us, and it's a great place to get some discussion going. But without further ado, let's talk about the ban lit. Actually, I should probably introduce everyone who is here, right? Yeah, I should
Yeah,
do that.
probably.
So we got me, Lychee Punnett. I'm here because I don't know, I'm like part of the furniture. Then we've got the guy who usurped my throne, Tim Tom the Bim Bom.
Hello.
Yeah, so
Didn't he more usurp Will's throne?
I'm.
kind of,
That's
but he's
racist.
slowly like he's like look, I like to think of him as like a Zerg infection. He just took the throne and now his creep is reaching all
Whoa,
the way
that's even
into my
more.
territory.
Holy crap.
He's
For the
Korean, it checks out,
swarm.
right? For the swarm.
That is.
Next we have Butts and Coconuts, our bestest buddy, who I was gonna shout out on the people who aren't here, but now he's here, so cool beans, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I managed that one.
Mostly because you
Hmm.
know Love Live Sunshine and I don't. And then we have fresh from English Worlds, the world champion himself. I don't actually know what you're going by, but I'm just gonna say his name because everyone knows his name. Riaz Mohammed. Welcome, buddy.
Yes, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, indeed. So, look, let's get on to the meat and or potatoes of this cast, the ban list itself.
Let's start with
So,
the less significant changes first, real quickly, and then.
yeah, okay. So everything but Love Live Sunshine then.
Yeah, basically.
So,
Haha.
uh, so three sets got stuff delimited. So the first one is Nisekoi, the boogeyman of 2015. Is still really dead. So Nisekoi used to have Marika, its level 3 finisher, restricted to 1, and a pick 1 of 3 list. But now that was shortened to a pick 1 of 2. And now that's been removed completely. So Nisekoi is free as a bird, except for the fact that Marika is a 1 of. I'm personally of the opinion that Marika could be a 4 of, and Nisekoi still wouldn't be particularly threatening, but again, that is me. Next, we have Monogatari, the boogeyman of
16?
2016. Yeah,
2016, yeah.
2016. It's like 2016 to 2017. Then it got hit to oblivion. So it went from having a pick 1 of 4, with on the graphic you see here. Oh, I should probably say it now. Look, we steal this from Josh Audi Benitez every single
Not the
it's
last
not year.
time.
It's like every half year. We didn't do it last time.
He didn't have one last time.
Oh, I see. It's because nothing happened, right?
No, that's when the Gogeta change happened.
He just didn't have one.
Okay, so Oh, well, okay, sure. We steal it from him every time. Kudos to you, man. And thanks again for giving us permission. I don't think he actually gave us permission, did he? That's cool. Anyway, thanks again. So yeah, Monogatari had those four cards, but now they've had the rightmost card, Middle Schooler Shinobu, removed. So that's the card which has when another character is front attacked, another strange trait, you may pay one to bounce that card to your hand. That card denied reverses, gave you plus one cost to pluses if Shinobu was in the front row, and was just an all-round good card to let you recycle your level 1 Arzuses and your other cards with. And yeah, they still have Tutu Hanekawa, the 0-0 Searcher Araragi Shinobu, and the level 3 Mayoi all stuck on the list.
My heart hurts.
And the third series, which received a bit of a D restriction, was Kantai Collection. So Junyo is still banned, the Global Soul Support, but now they have they had Z3, which was like a back row support and a pseudo plussing engine. Hibiki, the anti-heal / plussing engine. Inazuma, the plussing engine. This is starting to become a bit of like a pattern, isn't it? And Hatsukaze, who is not a plussing engine at all. Wow, way to break the formula. So yeah, Z3 has been removed, and we can talk about each of these restrictions as they come. And then the most impactful one by far. So there was a series in Japan receiving, I think, like 60% participation in trios and 21% in Neo, and the tops were about, like, the topping numbers were pretty similar to those numbers. It was Love Live Sunshine, which Japan really, really liked. It was a deck that played all the cards that you can see there in high numbers. So they have gotten a pick one of 3. A lot of people were betting on a pick one of 2, myself included, but well, that actually did happen. They just decided to slap even more restrictions on. So the restriction that I personally predicted, or well, one of my 2 likely predictions was 2-1 Rico level support, which is the advanced summon condition and all-round great hand filter, and then one of the level 1s. So in this case, they chose to hit the Ruby Azza instead of the Chica Climax combo that I was thinking could have been hit. And then just, just to rub salt in all of the Love Live Sunshine players' wounds, they put this level 0 Kanan on there as well. Kanan being a card with lots of cool little neat effects. Nothing overwhelmingly game-breaking, but it did offer a very good tempo swing in the mid-game. The card itself, what it does is it has... correct me if I'm wrong, when a card of yours dies, you may sack this from the back row to put it back in that place in rested position, and when another card of yours, or when this card dies rather, you may check the top card of your deck, put it either on top or bottom. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what the card does.
Yes. I believe it has to be in the back row, though,
He said,
to save
yes.
stuff.
He said it was, yeah, he said that.
Okay.
Yep, so it's a pick one of 3. Early, I don't think it's early polling, but the opinion I've heard from a lot of Sunshine players is that they're going to try and keep the level support Rico, because it's the card that leads to the best plays that Love Live Sunshine has. But the other 2, well, I don't know about Kanan, but certainly Ruby, have reasonable arguments for them as well. And let's talk a bit about that. I'm not personally a Sunshine player, but Bots and Coconut here is very much a Sunshine player. So how do you feel about this? And you're not allowed to just sob into the mic. I'm not allowing you to do that.
Okay.
I said not allowed.
I'm trying. Okay, so obviously, the Rico is a very strong card. It's top checking is generally powerful in Sunshine because of the 3-2 Yo, and there's some other like top deck shenanigans stuff that people don't really play, but if you want to, more power to you. It's a level assist, so it makes your double early play really big. Like the Chica will be 13-5 and the Yo will be 15-5, and it turns non-playables in your hand into playables. So overall, an excellent card. Obviously has to go in the deck if you're planning to play the double early play. And is honestly a viable card even if you aren't going for that strategy, just because it's an all-around solid level assist. So it would not surprise me that with what cards are currently out, that this would be the most played pick. I myself, much like Alfred, was kind of expecting specifically the Ruby and the Rico to get hit together, and I was going to try something. I wanted to try something out, like choosing the Rico in that instance and playing like the 1-0 blue event from the first set or the blue event from the TD Plus as a way to free mill and then just have more blue in the deck to play Maris or something as your supplementary level 1. But when I saw that this Kanon was hit, I was drained of all interest of banging out a new Sunshine list. Partially because I really like that Kanon, and I think it does a lot of good things for the deck. To a point where I was feeling kind of, not so hot on the double early play Chica Bomb deck until I started playing that card at like 2 or 3 copies. So I think it ended up being a more important card for the strategy than people may realize. So that being on the list discourages me, and also there's a new set in like April, so who knows if even trying to bang out a new list now is worth it if we're going to get a full booster in a couple months, like 100 new cards.
It is a full booster?
Yeah, it's a full booster. For those...
XSPs.
Maybe. I just want to talk about the Kanon and my experience with it because I think it's an extremely innocuous card. A card is really sweet. You could save Chica Bombs that die on your turn, so they have to front into bombs. You could save Chica Bombs that die on their turn after you kill a level 0 with your Chica. And then as you transition into late game, you just keep your early play pieces alive. And because the Kanon is like constantly sacking itself, you always have a back row slot to play another one, which you are most likely fishing back with the Rico 2-1 if you're hitting a 0 on the Rico 2-1 salvage effect. So, like, it being in the deck makes 0 not like a total miss for Rico, which I think is something that's pretty important for a card like that. Where now revealing a 0 on Rico means you get like a runner that you'll probably just end up discarding or clocking anyway.
There's a Ruby. Is it a Ruby that has the same saver effect? Would you consider playing that instead of the Kano? As like
there?
Yeah, there is. It's the
Step
same
one, I
exact.
believe.
Yeah, it's the same exact saver effect, just no scry.
Some of the other things that were nice about the Kanon is that it fixes for blue. Ruby is probably a yellow card. Wait, what set is this from?
I think it's set 2 actually.
Okay.
Is it? No, I believe it.
Hey.
Yeah. No, it's a Hanamaru. Like that.
Oh,
Okay.
and it's set 2?
It's set 2. Yes.
Does that change anything? The fact that it's
I
Hanamaru?
No, it changes nothing. So you have this card.
I guess that's interesting. I mean, obviously you would prefer the Kanon because of the Scry on Death, which, for me personally, it's been pretty clutch.
Is there anything to fix yellow for anymore? Like pressing?
I mean,
Musashi,
people
maybe?
still like Musashi.
Kinda. That card's like not.
the Musashi is played very sparingly, if at all, in Sunshine lists. I think yellow was
Agreed.
definitely for the Ruby, because that was.
Look, I
just
know
your
a lot of people are like very high on the Musashi effect in Sunshine. I mean, I'm not exactly sure why, but the popular consensus that I've seen is that people do think it's a pivotal part of the top end. I'm not saying that I necessarily agree. I'm just saying I've seen that sentiment.
Well, I think I would have to disagree with that if most of the lists I see play 0 or 1 copy, maybe 2 copies of the Musashi. But the biggest difference between the Hanamaru, which I'm just discovering about, so I guess I'm a terrible Sunshine player, and the the Kanon is the Scry. And the Scry is probably just like a nice little benefit that's added onto the card rather than like a huge benefit. But it feels really good when you scry something to the bottom and then you actually like draw a clock and then you clock into stuff you need or something. And also Sunshine, tucking a card at the bottom works pretty well in the deck if you have the foresight to remember what you put on the bottom, because nothing really shuffles your deck, so that's actually important information for like a Yoburn or a Musashi Mill or just like trigger information or like a Mari flip. So yeah, I don't know. The weird thing that arises is this goes back to being a yellow card, and then you need to play blue for your free mill now. Mm-hmm. So obviously you would have preferred the Kanon for your free mill for color fixing purposes, but this might work if you want to keep that part of the strategy.
What color fixing is there in blue? There's like there's a couple of deers I know about.
There's a drop searcher. There's a top deck filter that's also A1 clock draw.
A1.
Are you talking about the drop searcher that only searches blue?
Yes. It also it has that pay 1 encore effect.
If you're only searching for blue, then
like
I don't think you play it.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of blue you play otherwise is just the 1-0 event and like maybe some healers or something.
Healers.
The Japanese actually play some number of Mari, but yeah, sure. I mean, if you're playing more blue now, right? I mean,
Maybe
you have a 3/2 healer. You have running Mari. You could like run counters now.
I don't.
Wait. Oh, I mean, okay, sure, fair enough.
You would run counters for your early plays,
Yeah,
not for
but
level one.
I get the common target would be like the Mari, I think.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Just sounded like Lychee was confused why you brought up counters.
No, I'm just delayed. There's just like a ping of 8 million from the moon to real civilization.
Right. Yeah. So it's probably something I would have to play with to see how much the scry actually like
matters. Okay.
Matters, because I think it's just one of those. It like scrying is kind of like an incremental value thing. There's no like actual tangible card it gives you value wise, but it gives you like trigger information or like improves your draw, or at least changes your draws. Like every time you are putting something to the bottom, you are potentially making the top card of your deck a better card, I guess, is a way of looking at it. And because of just how I ended up playing the deck, if I'm doing this Kanon like quite a few times a game because I'm able to with the Rico, then maybe I'm actually losing a lot of value by not having access to that many scries. But yeah, I think it might just be a little safer to wait for set 2, because last year I really burnt myself out trying to make like decent Hanekawa bar decks after it got hit, and I just like went crazy trying to do that. And knowing that there's knowing that there's new Sunshine cards coming out makes me feel better for the future of the deck, at least.
I think what it means is you just stop trying to make the deck now and wait for cards to release, because for all you know, you might not even be playing red when the next booster releases.
Yeah, exactly. Or there may be another free mill option, or or there might be a different early play strategy to play with, so you get access back to the Akatsuki without sacrificing the double early plays, or
like without
sacrificing an early play strategy.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an odd place to be in, but again, Weiss is not a place where tournaments. It's not a game where tournaments happen like constantly in terms of large tournaments that matter and will get you places. So I think that if you're a Sunshine player, you just kind of take a break until the next booster, and then you make your deck once you see what you're going to get soon. I've got an unfortunate belief that any set that gets hit will not really receive a lot of support from the next boosters. My reasoning being that both Disgaea and Nisekoi got pretty much nothing.
I completely
So-
agree with that sentiment.
I think they're-
Kantai got stuff though.
Yeah, but Kantai,
I'm
like,
not convinced they got stuff.
European Fleet came out way after Kantai got hit. The
I'm
Nisekoi
really not
EB
convinced.
and D2 were relatively
Yeah.
soon after they got hit.
Like, let's on that topic about Kantai. I didn't think Kantai was particularly good before Z3 got added to the list, and I still don't think it's particularly good now. But the thing about the Kantai ban list before was that in order to have a functional deck at all, you basically had to run Z3. So by putting her on the list, you effectively banned Hatsukaze and to a lesser extent Hibiki, because no one was going to pick those cards over Z3 since your level, like, you don't have any recourse except to play for field at level 1. That is the unfortunate reality of how Kantai played, and Z3 was just what you had to do in that situation. Inazuma was obviously a big loss, but look, that's how Kantai played, and as a result, it was less of a pick one of 4 and more of a banning of 3 cards that you just couldn't play because you had to play this other support. So removing it from the list shows a remarkable amount of insight from Bushiroad End, in my opinion, because it actually opens the deck up to being a bit more versatile. Yeah, like,
I mean, it's
we could
just
actually
like
see it played.
it's a pretty solid, honest deck, I guess, in this situation. And when I say honest, I just mean, like, if you're picking Inazuma, which is what I think I would pick, like, obviously you're not picking the anti-heal or the anti-salvage, which is probably a lot of people's complaints or a lot of people's nightmares when they think of old Kantai.
I don't think anyone complains about Hatsukaze anymore. Not that they should. Like,
I
it's
mean,
really not
yeah,
a
but
big deal.
it's like, those
I know what
scars
you
run
mean,
deep.
like,
Why
it's
why
weird
is
to be
Marika
full
still at
Kantai
1?
honest.
It's a floodgate.
Yeah.
Why do people freak out when people talk about putting Marika to anything other than 1? Those scars run deep, and people don't think rationally about it anymore.
I mean, Marika is a scary card. It's just the rest of Nisekoi is old and busted. But we'll get to Nisekoi later.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you guys have any ideas of any arguments for Hatsukaze or Hibiki? Because I personally think that being as consistent as possible and with Inazuma is the way to go with Kantai if you absolutely must play that deck.
Yeah, so I play Kantai, and I choose Inazuma just because this allows you to search your tools early, and you can actually try field easy now again.
Yeah. I mean, you want 2 specific back row pieces, those being
Both C3s.
both Z3s,
Z3
the
and
0-0
Z3
And you need your backup.
1-0.
And you need your combo. And you need your...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
it's
have
just
so many pieces you're trying
aids
to
the plan.
assemble. And I also think you just probably don't have room for Vernies. That seems like a difficult card to actually fit into the deck if you're trying to play the.
I mean,
I think pre
the idea is to have, like,
people were not playing Verney at all. They were actually just playing solo Hibiki and sending her
then-
to memory.
Then there's even more reason to pick Inazuma because you weren't even playing Hibiki and plussing with it, right?
Yeah, you're just using it for the anti-heal effect.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, you need a lot, but the combo kind of gets you things that you aren't. Well, it gets you to counter, basically. All you really need is the combo and your back row pieces, and if you play enough of them, that's not too difficult to ask for. The climax is even searchable. I mean, that's because, reasons.
I mean,
Yeah,
and,
ultimately, go for it.
I would also say that putting Inazuma in your deck, Riaz said it makes it easier to try field, which is true, which means that you should have more stock to use the 0 Z3's search effect.
Well, that.
I mean, Inazuma.
Like you can search off of Inazuma and the Z3 if you need to, and having like a deck that tries easier
but
facilitates that better.
Inazuma's stock neutral though, so I don't think she really.
Yeah, Inazuma's just like an extra attack. that you didn't get before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
but
really about
if
the
you
stock,
attack
it's-
3 times, you have 3 stock.
No,
you
but
can
like,
You can Inazuma and search with Z3.
right? But
that adds,
yeah, but you're only doing
but
that because you have Inazuma, right? In this,
That's exactly what I'm saying. Right?
yeah, but you're not doing it because
you're
that'll
able,
get you extra stock.
like,
Uh,
yeah, but you can search for more pieces. You get 2
Yeah,
searches out
absolutely,
of this.
but
yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I also do think it like because your only way of getting things before you hit 1 was to pay 2, or Akatsuki, I guess. Inazuma actually saves an extra stock in some situations.
Yes.
So I look at it that
yeah,
way
if you
too.
think about it that way, then yeah, fair enough.
Hmm.
Look, either way, I think she's the choice because I don't think Hibiki brings enough to the table unless your metagame is eight heals top end. Like if your metagame is nothing but people who play 8 heals and bang dream, then yeah, I guess maybe this is what you do. Or if it's like counter choice Gochu or something, then maybe you play Hibiki. But otherwise, I'm not convinced you play Hibiki, and Hatsukaze is just off the table. She doesn't do nearly enough. Not only does she take up a back row slot that you ideally want for your Z3 Kai combination, but she also just doesn't do anything against a lot of decks right now. There's not a lot of decks running gates, or like not a lot of decks forced to run gates. Like some Sunshine decks run gates, but Sunshine just died, so not really consideration. Does SAO run gates? I'm pretty sure they run
No.
like top end
Kimono runs
plus
gates.
standard. Kimono can run
It's
gates.
typically played. Well, yes, it is one of the popular trigger choices for the deck.
Sure. And I think that's about it really. Like ReZero runs gates, I guess. Yeah, ReZero Persona 5, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think Hatsukaze does a great deal, and I think that Inazuma will be the choice. But I also don't think Kantai will do very much, because ultimately it is, as mentioned before, a very honest deck, and as a result, I just don't think it does enough.
Yeah, it's fine. That's the word I would use. It's fine. If someone asked me, "Hey, Z3 came off the list. Should I play Kantai at locals?" I would say, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah, I mean that's just how it goes. Now let's get on to Nisekoi.
Monogatari.
Saving the best for last.
Saving the best for last, baby.
All right.
All right.
Monogatari.
All right, Monogatari it is. Sure. So Monogatari was once a quote-unquote oppressive deck. I never really believed in the oppression. It was really busted when it did cancel and go off, but
18
if
stock.
it didn't do
man.
that,
18 stock.
We've come full circle.
I've got 20.
Every game.
Right. Now we can play the
Okay.
deck that was played before the first restriction.
Which is really funny.
Yeah, it's really depressing, actually. So look, before the first restriction, which was they put what did they put on?
Mayoi
They
and
put
Middle
it was
Shinobu.
It was Mayoi
Yeah.
and JC Shinobu.
yeah. So the deck at that point, I'm not actually sure there was a unified list, but you didn't see as many anti-change effects going around as you do nowadays. So the list just played the 2/2 change into the 3/2 Super Scry Shinobu, and then rode the Mayoi level 3 to victory, obviously with the same mid-game engine that you would play nowadays. That deck got hit, and then Japan took a liking to the 2/2 Hanekawa, because I guess 2/0 beaters are good. I've probably said somewhere about how I really don't think the 2/2 Hanekawa is as broken as everyone made it out to be, but if you managed to cancel and then pulled your second bar, then 2/2 Hanekawa did do some extremely powerful things. And the idea behind the deck was you would assemble like close to 20 stock, and then you would go for one turn where you stack the healer Mayoi's effects something like 5 or 6 times onto a card, and then they would swing for like 7. If they didn't eat the 7, then they would be burned like 5 or 6 times, and then Monogatari would win. I'm not going to talk about my grievances with that deck and my grievances with its popularity, but it was a very popular deck, and it was popular enough to get hit. And now we've gotten one of the original offenders on the ban list taken off, the middle school Shinobu. Her main role in the deck was to bounce back Azza to allow you to fix your hand constantly to get the pieces you wanted and to fill your graveyard well, I'm not sure there was actually you would fill your graveyard for anymore. I suppose you can fill your graveyard for the ditch salvage snail that you play in place of the Shinobu and Araragi. That being said, moving forward, I think there are two camps as to what choice you make. The drop searcher is out because that card just does nothing when compared to the effects of the other two. You've got the 2/2 Hanakawa camp, who will at this point probably be forced into a compression game plan, and then you've got the 3/2 Mayoi camp, which is a bit more moderate and a bit less fond of having 20 stock. I'm personally in the Hanakawa camp because I think that is probably the best thing that this deck can do to distinguish itself. But what thoughts do you guys have?
I think that the way I have been playing Monogatari, just like testing with the Shinobu, is I am playing the Mayoi and I am opting to, play an honest game plan. I don't think it's great. It's definitely serviceable. I think the JC Shinobu is actually really fun. That's a really cool card. I've wanted to play with that card for so long, but when I picked up Monogatari second season, it had already been limited, and at the time, the Mayoi was just clearly the card to play because I got into it with the bar deck.
All you have to do is play Persona, right? And then you get to play with the bounce back all you want. But I digress.
Why would I do that?
Well, because the protag deck is sweet.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's
now
fair.
we have the ability to bounce back Azza, which was the original complaint that a lot of people had. It was so prominent in Japan that people started playing this card instead of Riki, which always confused me. But again, I'm often confused by Japan. I don't know how their minds work when it comes to these sorts of things a lot of the time. But either way, we've gotten it back. I assume that people will be picking Cat because, look, they just do that. They're picking counter over the 3/2 and Gochu, so I can expect them to pick the 2/2 over the 3/2. Again, I'm personally Hanakawa.
I just feel like the Hanakawa deck feels so crappy. If I tried to build it similar to how I was playing the old deck, maybe Shot Bar is the answer. But I feel like it's too hard. Like the way that the deck typically played out before was it was like really taxing on your hand, which is why the drop searcher was pretty important. So you didn't actually have to like hold on to as many Hanakawas. And then you would like refresh at high 1, go into 2. You have one Hanakawa already. You search a second Hanakawa for free. You use your 4 stock. You play 2 Hanakawas. You try to snowball.
And then you play the original Yami, right?
No, I'm not. That's not what I meant by Shot Bar. I meant like using the on reverse combo, just as a way to actually maintain cards in hand and find the pieces.
I think JC makes the old level 1 even better. Right? If you played the old package with the bomb and the Azusa, they just played that stuff. You just play JC now, right? And now,
if you get enough stock, sure, I guess.
Well, I mean, the idea is to you play like
JC's
the Zerzer Araragi and garbage like that, right?
Yeah. Well, the Shinobu's like a plus too, if you front row it and it finds like a place to attack.
I understand that. It's just something that I would have to test because I never thought about playing JC with Cat. For me, hand and stock was always tight. JC helps with hand, but it does cost a stock to bounce stuff back. That's all I'm saying.
Look, I think.
Well, I mean, you just need to get enough stock to get rolling, right? That deck. I think you.
Yeah,
can...
but if typically I would barely have enough stock, like I would literally have 4 stock and 2 Hanakawas, a majority of the time that I was playing it.
Well, you're also making more stock at level 0 too, because JC lets you try field a lot easier.
I mean, but isn't JC stock neutral?
Yeah, he's right. It is stock
Okay,
neutral.
yeah, you're right.
It's something I'm willing to test. I never thought about it like that. That's all I'm saying. Those are just some of my initial reservations.
I have reservations about playing Monogatari, period. But that's
like
neither here nor
you're a
there.
no fun Nancy.
Yeah, I'm building Gurren Lagann, so I can safely say I am definitely not a no fun Nancy.
I think I'm on
You're,
the
right. You're a no
line
win
we can't-
Nancy.
If you have to cancel the win with Tutu Hanakawa, I think I'd rather cancel with the
But
Tutu
you don't
Mayo
have to
Friday.
cancel. You don't have to cancel the win if you just use the stock from Tutu Hanakawa to play Tutu Mayois and then just yami them out, right?
Okay.
You need to cancel the win because you need a lot of stock to make that Mayoi like useful.
It's also because like
You're just
a lot of your the healers in Monogatari just kind of aren't good. It's like the other thing.
I mean, my deck right now is super greedy, but that's because it's like I built it specifically with my locals in mind because I don't intend to play it outside of locals. So my
The state of
intentions with
Monogatari, everyone.
my intentions with Monogatari are completely selfish and self-serving. I'm not looking to better the community or better this deck's stance in the game. That might be telling of how I truly feel about Monogatari.
all right. Let's move on before we get too sidetracked about Monogatari. Then,
Nisekoi.
and the one you're looking forward to.
I love Nisekoi. I've always been a fan of
Yeah,
Nisekoi.
I love Nisekoi too.
We all love Nisekoi.
Refresh is off.
Nisekoi sucks.
Nisekoi does suck. I had
Nah.
I had that crushing realization when I was testing out some new builds the other day, which I guess are just old builds with one copy of Marika.
What is the current?
Let's take a walk down memory lane so we can talk about why Nisekoi sucks right now.
So
Nisekoi used to be good because it was the only really good advanced summon deck, and this was at a point where literally no other deck played advanced summons except
Nisekoi.
No, I think literally no other deck did. Nisekoi was like the only.
Beta.
I said the only good
I
one.
mean, Girlfriend Beta was a bit after Nisekoi, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
it was
Volume
after.
2 was several months after, but Sire was always
Project
around. At that
Diva.
point, I don't think Project Diva actually was played ever. So
I think
the thing
Nisekoi
about,
in general was just pretty ahead of its time.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, back then the competition was Angel Beats Re-Edit,
No,
Love Live
What?
Extra Booster.
The competition
no,
back
it's-
then was
it's
Kantai.
Kantai.
Well,
Yeah,
like
it was
I'm talking
Kantai.
about like this in
Talk
this.
about-
I'm talking about the sets surrounding Nisekoi's release.
There was Little Buster's Card Mission and Persona Q and Da Capo Sakurasaki.
Yep.
I noticed because they were literally 2 weeks away from each other, and I bought 3 of the 4.
I mean,
I don't
Yeah.
agree. I don't agree that I was ahead of the time because at that point there were 2 Azusa decks already, and Nisekoi has no free.
There was zero
Nis-
Azusa
there were
decks.
0 Asusa decks.
Wait, is that how? Oh, okay, sure.
Yes.
So Nisekoi was ahead of it.
Don't
Is that?
again.
It was volume 2. Oh my god.
Okay.
I've got my things. Stuff
Here,
down,
like
don't I?
Nisekoi had a no if ands or buts plus in combo on a 1k1 that was also a door. It had like this really over spec level 1 bomb. It had a early play that at the time was seen as like the devil because it was pretty big, I guess, and it was a cantrip, and its early play condition basically didn't exist.
Yeah.
It
And
had
its
a level
finisher
0
was
reverser
insane.
that was a runner. And Marika, like, Marika existed before. like that's why I would say that Nisekoi was ahead of its time. And there's probably a bunch of other stuff like the Chitoge 1-0 beater. That's a card that has always been kind of confusing to me. It's just like the freest 6/5 in a world where Ellie was still considered pretty powerful. Not that that card was played because you had like the Onodera Clock Encore.
Now there's nothing notable about Nisekoi.
And like Red Pendant was really good because you didn't need to mill 4 with your Brainstorm every turn.
There's plenty notable about Nisekoi, it's just none of it is good.
Well, I meant notable in the sense, yeah. That's what I...
Yeah,
As
look,
in, like,
Nisekoi...
desirable qualities for a tournament deck, Nisekoi possesses none of those.
At this point in time, I would be surprised if any of you had played more recent Nisekoi builds more than I have. The deck's basically red-blue. You can splash into other things if you want, but red-blue is how I've been playing it, and I've been finding reasonable success because people still front attack. That's just something people do. I've ditched yellow completely. I'm no longer playing the 1-0 draw drop, no longer playing the 2-1 level 3 supporter, and no longer playing the 1-0-6-5, obviously, because as soon as Raku came off, that meant you could play Raku, and you could play that there's a 4/5 Marika, which gains 2k if you have a Raku on field.
It's
so
a 3/5 that gains 3k.
Whatever. It's a 6/5 is the point. And it goes to 7k, and then you have a 3k counter via blue pendant, hopefully.
Every time, I just want to throw this out there. Every time I try to play that goddamn card, it never works. I don't know how stupid I am. No, the Marika beater, that should be like a no-brainer.
I mean, it's been working fine for me. I've been
preferring Nisekoi with yellow, personally. That's all I'm really going to say. Ultimately, I don't think it matters because it's Nisekoi in 2018.
Agreed. Like I also tried the 2k Sugumi counter. Is it Sugumi? I'm pretty sure it's Sugumi.
Yeah,
because there's lots of Chitoge back row anyway, and all you need is a Joe on field, and like that's not difficult to do. And I think the most interesting thing that might not be immediately apparent to people who haven't played Nisekoi is that you don't advance summon very often. Your advanced summon is hugely cumbersome, very problematic, and it's basically front-loading 2 stock that you don't necessarily want to spend. If I cancel a bunch, and if I get two thingies into memory, then yeah, maybe I'll advance summon and I'll get my plus. But right now, especially with the free fresh off as another level 2 play, I think you're much better off just, playing level 1s, going for value, and if you absolutely have to, playing advanced summons, because right now I don't find myself doing that very often. You can usually contest field quite well with your 1/1 3k counters. Oh, that sounds so disgusting to say.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, Alf learning the joys of winning field.
It's terrible. This deck is terrible. So, yeah, there is your... Okay, winning field is good in terrible decks. There is your, there you go. Enjoy your victory.
Yeah, and I still win field with yellow.
Yeah, so yellow is still better because you have the better pendant, but ultimately I don't think it's necessary. It is kind of frustrating that your only good beaters are also yellow. Like, I know there are other beaters, I don't think they're good. The closest thing to a good beta is a 0015 Onodera that gets 2k if your opponent has 3 or less cards. Not 3 or less characters, rather. And I don't think that card's particularly good when pendants are no longer the be-all and end-all of your game plan. So yeah, you can still splash for yellow. I don't think it's what you should be doing, but you certainly can.
I mean, I don't optimize. I've given up optimizing Nisekoi, and I've been like really pushing Nisekoi for a long time. I just really enjoy playing Nisekoi. I think it's because it reminds me of a time I was like really getting into the game.
I wouldn't be too surprised if the optimal build was actually a weird like red-green hybrid of some sort.
So
because
like
blue is
Nisekoi?
literally...
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. But like, I just run a bunch of bad, weird one-ofs just because I can, and I still sometimes win because it's Weiss. And I never pay money to play Nisekoi. I'll play it for a couple friendlies every couple of weeks, and I'll enjoy myself. That is my relationship with Nisekoi. It's probably very similar to my relationship with Monogatari.
The major weaknesses of the deck, the key build rather, are, well, basically it's just lack of free mill and lack of good advanced summon, which is really weird to say given how stupid Onodera once was. But I do think that if you want to play like red-yellow and a skew blue for everything but the free fresh, then you can, and you can play the Chitoge advanced summon instead, because that card is still pretty alright. And if you have the 2-1 support behind it, she is kind of big, I guess. I mean, that's something you could try to do. I'm not going to experiment.
What that card does.
The one that gets -1 level if you have form or other Ajo or weapon traits. It gets 500 for every other weapon or Ajo on the field.
And
That's
it's
the
front attack squad, yeah.
Yes, on front attacks.
And wreck, sir.
Shout outs to Mike Chen, who once advocated this as like the best level 2 play for a while in English. And he's probably right, actually. It probably was. And yeah, I'm sure that it can be optimized like that, but I think that Shitoga is shit, so I'm not going to do that.
I just don't want to buy those SPs. Oh wait, the SP.
They're very
the signature is blue. Ooh, maybe I do.
Rainbow.
Maybe it is rainbow. Maybe it's just a weird scam.
Yeah.
Well, I still need to buy my Kosaki SPs before Marika goes to 4 and Weiss goes into nuclear winter.
You want to buy my stock? Yes, please.
Are you actually selling them? I know you aren't.
No, I'm not. I'm not selling them. All right, unless you're going to pay 17,800 like I did.
Haha, you take me for a fool.
All right. So, any closing thoughts on Nisekoi?
Yeah.
Free fresh
Okay,
is sweet.
okay. I do have closing thoughts on Nisekoi. In October 2018, there will be either a power-up set or a one of those go-go promo packs. And Nisekoi is going to get a card that is very similar to Kaban from Kimono Friends. Basically the same effect, but its in-memory effect is it's treated as Pendant of Promise. And then Nisekoi will also get a some sort of free mill, and then I can die peacefully and happily.
Katsuki for key.
It could be a Katsuki, it could be like an Armin. I don't really care. Oh, it's Armin, and it can also grab Pendant of Promise.
Wow.
And that's how you save Nisekoi, boys. Butts out. I'm still gonna stay in the call though.
Okay, so I think that it's strangely anticlimactic. All 3 of the unbans, I think, will do nothing to the metagame, except for those, like, there's probably like 2 people who play boats a lot and really, really like Kantai, and they'll sack their way to a top somewhere. And the same might go for Monogatari. I'm not convinced. I just don't think that deck is particularly good. I don't think any of the decks touched by the ban list, either hit or unhit, will do anything in the near future. Sunshine, because you're about to get a new set, like, wait for that. Just wait for that, and then you can be broken if that is what Kidani has in store for you. And the other 3 just kind of suck, because it's 2018, and we're getting releases like Gurren Lagann, and these sets are all somehow as bad as Gurren Lagann.
You mean Gurren Lagann is as bad as these sets?
Does Gurren Lagann
have
does Gurren Lagann have an anti-change bomb?
Yes.
Do you play it?
Yeah, I play 1.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I will think about it and then maybe money match me with my Monogatari later.
Alright.
Do I have... Okay, I'm just going to bring it maxed, and you're going to just get blinded and misplay. It's going to be great.
Joke's on you. You don't need to do that to get me to misplay.
Outplayed before the game started.
Outplayed. Alright, so let's get to the I already said meat and potatoes, so what is this? Like the fish course?
Oh, this is the entree?
Oh my god. Can I talk about how the word entree... Can I talk about how the word entree means... It literally means what it sounds like. It is the entry course. It is not the main. I don't know how Americans made the word entree into main when there's a word called main that the rest of the world uses. Like, do you know what entree means in French?
Entry.
Do you know what course entree refers to in French?
The main,
appetizer.
obviously.
All right. I hate you all. So S tier. Look,
Well,
we
guess
as
we're
always.
not doing that.
Disclaimer, as always, this is a opinion-based tier list. It is not a data-based tier list because those are one, extremely easy to construct. All you need is the data. Two, extremely centralized in Japan and therefore not applicable to the wider world because most places don't just copy Japan,
Well,
and nor
the
should
problem
they.
is we just don't get enough data from like other regions. Like
I
Japan
mean,
gives us
that's
the most data, so
yeah, that's
yeah.
that's fair enough, but that also doesn't mean we should apply that to like our regional mindsets or whatever.
No, of course not.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You can go, dude. We'll still be here.
Nah.
Um,
I can't do that.
okay. So our S tier, A tier, B tier are just arbitrary designations of relatively strong sets. This list is meant to give you an idea of what would be good to take to a tournament if you expect to place well and do well against similarly good sets. So it's going to be like things that for what? Yes.
Heck
So things that
yes.
free shilling. Things that we take into account are like series strength, obviously, their matchups against other top tier decks, their, I guess, consistency and how well they're likely to do in the tournaments, the amount of thought you need to put, yeah, the amount of thought you need to put into a deck in order to have it run well, because that can be tiring over the course of a tournament. Fatigue is real. And yeah, a lot of it will be dictated on your personal regional metagame. And this is not a universal tier list. Do not just take this list as the word of God, so to speak. Although
Okay.
it's yeah. Although I have a funny feeling that if it is probably more accurate for any given place on Earth aside from Japan than the data-driven tier lists of Japan specifically.
Hmm.
It's a pretty big claim actually. I think we can back it up. So let's
If I may start, uh,
yeah,
I
right.
actually, I've been on quite a few of these. I know how these go. We put LB in S tier. We put Melty Blood in Melty Blood tier. We create a D tier. We put Project Diva there. We go back and we put TLR in S tier, and then we cut. Right?
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
you're
wrap.
done.
That.
So
Oh,
Easy.
hi, Mark.
that's almost as good as what we would do, but the problem is Diva got a release in between the last
Oh
Banlist
yeah,
cast and this one.
Well,
it's not a
it's
meme. Oh
it's D
God.
tier for Diva tier.
No. It used to be S tier for Samson, but the thing is, we can't do
Ah.
any of that anymore because the formula's just been ruined. So
Okay.
S
Well,
tier.
okay. I guess we got to work this one out then.
I'm putting LB here because this is top
Oh
tier
my
tiers and this
God.
is what we do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. Little
Little
busters.
busters. Little shillers. Dude,
Uh,
wait, can we? Is it fair to put Little Busters in S tier when it's getting a new set?
Yes.
We could
well,
just
it
put an
can't get
asterisk on
it
here,
can't
you
get
know.
worse.
But what if the new set does make it worse?
What?
Well,
Uh,
here's the thing. No. He's got
Well, you
some.
know
He's
what?
got a point
You know
there.
what? S tier. Put
The new set.
Saikano in S tier.
No. The new set is going to make Little Busters worse because right now there are like 3 Little Busters players in the world, and anyone still playing Little Busters right now, who has invested into Little Busters, is probably quite proficient at Little Busters. So once the new booster comes out, the average skill level of Little Busters players will go down because there are simply that many more Little Busters players who are not as good at Little Busters.
You're saying that like the two soul will be in the set.
Hey, you got to give people hope somehow, right?
yeah, Twins is
Oh
saved.
boy.
Twins
Yeah,
will be the
Twins
meta
is
build,
saved.
obviously. Standby is
Right.
going to change the game.
I mean, Twins will
Standby's
probably be
awful.
a pretty competent pick.
Still doesn't have mill.
I mean,
All right,
doesn't
so
have Bill yet.
rewrite.
No, famous last words.
Rewrite. Look, I love it. I have
Guardian.
Max Twins
I have Max
sleeved up
Twins
like.
too.
Yeah, you just bought it though. I crafted it. You were merely introduced to it. I was born in the maxed Twins.
I don't appreciate your tone in trying to disingenuine my experience.
I'm kidding.
Oh
But
yeah, rewrite Guardian. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Lyric Guardian's pretty good. It was pretty much unaffected by the bans in several ways. One, it obviously wasn't hit. Two, the second and third most popular decks in Japan. Well, the third most is the one that matters most. The Kimono Friends is the most popular, is the third most popular deck in Japan, and Rewrite has a very good matchup against that deck. Or I believe it does anyway. Um,
And then Sword Art
and
is the
yeah,
second most, right?
Sword Art is the second most. I'm not entirely sure how that matchup dynamic works, but I feel like Rewrite should probably win because it can answer the 2/2 Lisbeths. I don't know.
It plays for
I,
field better than Zao can, so yes, it probably should win.
all right. Look, we're talking about Sal. I'm still not convinced Standby Switch or whatever is top tier because one, you kind of need like the God draw for it to do stupid things. I understand this is the case with most decks, but if you don't get the God draw with Standby SAO, it's pretty mediocre. Like it's not that good.
When you say standby essay, are we talking in the perspective of Japan? Like, is that where we're
Yeah,
bringing up this?
Japanese standby switch, 4 silica, 4/1/1 silica, some number of 2/2 Lisbeth, switch top end,
Yeah,
or
okay.
switch top end, or link attack top end if that's what you want to play. And yeah, that's what I regard as the Japanese SAO build.
Uh,
What do you think? What do you think about it? Like you were recently in Japan, did you see any of that deck?
uh, it's funny enough, I saw that deck being played in the English World Tournament. Not even
Yeah,
joking.
no. I've seen people around the world all looking for those cards because, well, they take the deck from Japan and it's probably quite functional in English as well.
I'm just not convinced it's like the better version, just because I it uses standby really nicely, but uh, it requires some like luck is taken into the plan to make it
Oh,
work efficiently.
look, I honestly think it's probably more consistent than a lot of people give it credit for, but I
Yeah.
also don't think that what happens after you get all of this is as good as people could give it credit for either. Like,
Yeah.
unless you have like 3 of the level 0 silica or something ridiculous, and then all of them hit, and then you trigger another standby, I'm really not convinced that you do as much as you should be.
Uh,
That's fair. I
I
think
think it is a
standby is
solidly
just
A
a
tier
weird
deck.
thing to approach.
yeah, it's not a bad deck at all. I do think it's a solid. Like, I wouldn't frown on someone for taking the deck,
So
but
what is the better version of Zao?
I still think that
Yuki?
using Yuki and Xenon is the better version.
Old man, the future is here.
Old man, the future's here.
So,
I just think. Oh, what was you saying?
well, you go ahead with your thought.
I was gonna say that I just think having, well, one, having 8 climaxes that can push for damage will help you in some situations, like if you're behind, versus if you're behind and all you have is a standby, and you weren't, you weren't fortunate enough, I guess, to trigger standby early enough to play your 2/2 Elizabeth. Uh, I feel it has a better way of coming back from those situations. Uh, I also think it allows you to play more. Well, since you can sculpt your hand so easily with Yuki, you can I guess counteract any game plan a lot easier than the standby deck.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I think it's an A tier deck. Um, I don't know if I want to differentiate between A and A plus and whatever. I think both standby and the Yuki builds are A tier for the record. I also don't know if there's a big enough power differential to list them separately, so I think that
Nah,
putting them there is
I
fine.
don't think so.
Yeah, all right. I guess some of the other, the old, the old standbys of the list need to be covered. Talovru, Milky Holmes, um, ReZero.
I seem to remember a time
Chain Chronicles.
when Nisekoi always made it into our S tier.
I think Talovru is arguably S tier right now. You just can't stop the Talovru. Like,
Mm,
what does that sound?
Is that a
It's like
gun?
oh god.
so,
Well,
someone's like,
someone's watching Netflix. So it's level
alright,
zero
look,
game. Well, I mean, like, its game plan doesn't have a lot of the modern tricks that decks have now, like notably no cost 1+. That's selective for anything. I think is the biggest.
do you know what it does have though? It has wormhole, and I think wormhole beats up on like so much right now. Like the amount of decks that just completely lose to wormhole is staggering.
Hmm.
You look at
Wormhole
Is that
Revagati,
enough though?
you look at Japanese Bang Dream. You could I don't know. You could probably even what else? What else gets completely wrecked by it? Standby SAO. Any standby deck really just gets wrecked by it, except maybe Kimono Friends because its standby targets a back row. It just pushes for tempo super well. It always gets its finisher off. It has money counter. I understand that it can't fix a bad game, but
Is that the reason
fixing
why
a
it's
bad
not being
game,
played then? Because I think it is a strong.
it's a
Okay,
very
so
Japanese mentality.
Wormhole's strong,
That's a very
right?
Japanese mentality.
Okay, sure.
So it's a Japanese mentality to make sure that you can always come back from a bad game because then you have a chance to outplay. Because you know if you're not dead, then you've always got a chance to win. I don't subscribe to that mentality myself. I think that you should maximize your win cons and take your losses when they come, because ultimately variance does dictate a lot of what we do. So I think that Talavru, if it does get stuff happening, if it gets like a reverse or two reverses with its level 1 combo, if it doesn't draw literally 6 of its 8 climaxes, and if it hits a brainstorm at some point, you've got a pretty good deck there, especially against the field-based level 2 strategies, because Wormhole is actually just a game breaker right now. I can't think of another comparable event that's been printed recently, and probably for good reason, because it would turn the metagame upside down if it was printed in a deck that has more modern Japanese approved utilities.
Well, I think a lot of people would take issue with everything. I mean, so granted, Wormhole is strong, but I think a lot of people would take issue with everything that comes before. Like, is what Tolover does at level 0, level 1, is it good enough still?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's particularly special. I do think it still has that niche of not caring too much about walls. Is someone like cleaning a cart of accordions in the background or something?
It's just a movie. I'm sorry.
Right. Look, I do think it is not as strong as a lot of decks, but I do think that in between cards like Rune, Sitting Mayor, which is now a 2-off for me, it's not that great, and the utility Brainstorm that you've got, you can make things happen. I do think that 1/1 Yami is less good than it once was, simply because I don't really want to spend the stock, and oftentimes I won't even bother searching it unless I know I'm going to have to beat over a wall. And I do think that level 2 is ramshackle. It's makeshift and crappy and really bad, except for Wormhole. But I do think that there's just enough there for it to be a great foil to a lot of the good decks right now. And I do think that Yami is still Yami. So what can I say? I'm not going to say put it in S tier. I just think it's a very good deck. If everyone else thinks it's like a worse deck than that, no problem. Put it elsewhere.
B tier.
I think it's
B
still
tier.
I think it's still S tier. I was just playing devil's advocate a little bit.
Well, the other thing is, if you had actually said that it was like S tier, and then you got around to the level 2 argument, I would just pointed at you and said Milky over and over and over and over, and until you were forced to concede.
Okay.
Can I bring something up real quick?
Sure.
It's not related to the ban list, but is related to something discussed earlier. I went very far back in Twitter, and I'm looking at Monogatari lists before the first ban list, and there are actually cat lists from when Mayoi and JC Shinobu were legal, and the decks are running both cards. So obviously there was a point in time when JC Shinobu worked in a cat deck, so it would probably work in a cat deck now. So I guess that solves
I
whatever
mean,
issues
can
I
I
was
also ask
potentially
what
feeling.
this? Can I also ask what the secondary climax in those decks was, and was it just gates?
Oh yeah, baby, gates all the
I thought
way.
so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But just for fun or for level 3 finisher?
I assume it's
Oh,
just
they're
there,
like the
and
set one gates.
Oh, okay,
yeah, I
These
thought
guys
okay,
have
so.
okay.
style.
That's
No, they're
fair.
playing crab healers. But yeah, so maybe it's something like I said earlier, it's something I would have had to test, and I probably would have found pretty decent.
Okay.
All right. So
Any
we're putting.
dissenters to Tulawuru being in S tier?
Uh,
Um, there was a very long time where I didn't think Two Lover was as good as people kept saying it was. And I definitely feel like its general tools are just become more and more antiquated as time goes on. But still, it's still good at doing what it does, so I don't mind putting it in S tier.
I mean, its tools are comparable to Love Live Sunshine, aside from the fact it doesn't have Azza, right?
I think the only thing that's glaringly missing is just
Free mill.
free mill and a marquee like level 0. That'll
Yeah,
get you pluses reliably.
yeah,
Rune does that.
Sure, but
Not
Rune is
selective,
like,
obviously.
Rune is not selective, and Rune is also wildly varying in power depending on like your meta. I think because like in some metas,
In
Rune wrecks. Like you play that card and it's so good because your opponents rely on reverse combos. But in some metas, it's just like, eh, like
let me put that question back to you then. Love Live Sunshine also lacks that.
sure. But I'm not saying Live Life Sunshine is S tier. I don't think anyone would say that, right?
I mean, before the bans, would you have said that?
No.
I wouldn't have personally, but again, I'm not Japan.
uh, I mean, Sunshine has stuff that TLR doesn't have. Whether or not you play it, that's probably a different.
It has Azza
Um,
and DP.
well, I'm saying like at 0, like it has the Dia, which people sometimes played. What Japan would often opt to do is play some number of runners and 4 beaters for 0 plussing, and they play the Yo Bomb, the pay 2 salvage on death. Like that's how they would get plussing at 0, and like the Dia or the Yo Bomb. So that
I mean,
versus the run bounce to hand, the run bounce to hand obviously is very strong in some matchups, but cycling that same
I
card
actually
to your
think
hand.
Rune wins that. Like
I
Rune
think
wins that
Rune
particular
wins.
competition.
I think Rune actually just wins you a lot of matchups. To be honest, like
Sure.
it's like a really amazing, like, dirtle play in that transition to level 1 against the relevant decks. Like, you could multi-field that card against like Attack on Titan, for example, and they can't do anything about it.
It's
Sure.
also like the best tri-field card in the game, quite possibly.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. The, I think what ultimately puts Tulova over the top for me is just the fact that Yami is still the best self-sustaining endgame in the entire game. I don't think anything comes close. You can, even if Tulova is in a meta where it doesn't get enough cards in hand, it doesn't matter because Yami pluses you back all the cards you need and then some. So, I don't think it's lack of some modern tools prevent it from being in this tier. But obviously,
Sure.
not everyone
mean-
agrees on that.
I don't know. I'm just saying like Sunshine because pluses at 0, I guess.
Yeah, but they're like again, pretty ramshot pluses. They're
Sure.
not
I'm
good
just
pluses.
maybe
Except for
maybe I misunderstood what you said. So I'm
All right. Look, that's Tulova. People can disagree with us. That's perfectly fine. Where's Milky go? I hate this. I hate
E
this.
tier.
I think it's A tier.
Yeah.
I
I
think
hate this discussion so.
what the discussion about Milky?
Yeah.
Why?
Uh,
Why is that?
I think that Milky, like I said, I think there's not really a reason to play Milky because its win cons and Ultimate's goal are very similar to Guardian. It's just worse and arbitrarily less linear. I also think that its one strength over Guardian, its domination over field, is significantly weakened now that there's so many decks it has to attack into it has to attack into 7Ks and 7/5s pre-counter so often now. And it cares too much about its 1/0s. So I really don't think it sits near Guardian anymore.
Um, yes. I think its lack of it's a level 0 game is also just like poo. I think
Horrendous.
It's garbage. It's actually garbage.
it's like maybe worse than Telever's level 0, if that's even possible.
You're playing 4-drop searches.
Yeah. And its level 1 and its level 1 board is incredibly setup dependent to the point where missing 1 or 2 of the pieces just means you just lost level 1. That's the other thing about the deck. That's problematic.
Kind of like even more fragile than Kantai, right?
No, because you run more copies of different cards that you can just slot. So like you have some interchangeable back row in that deck. The problem is if you just don't get the right combination, it's like just bad. And obviously you also can't get your counter with any level 1 combo like Kantai can. So that's just like one more thing that you have to get. And you even run like 5 or 6 counters because of that, because you need that counter so badly. The other thing is like Milky is typically going -1, -2 climaxes in their second decks compared to other decks a lot of the time. I think that's a huge issue right now, especially because decks are getting so much better at refreshing better. And the other thing is like its endgame is just not that good. It's not nearly as good as Yami. It is self-sustaining, but you're not self-sustaining into anything meaningful. Like Yami gets you Darkness Plan, right? Yami gets you like a really good 2-turn kill. I don't think Milky actually does any of that very well.
Yami gets you the climax you need.
Yeah, that's also true. Like there's nothing particularly strong or notable about Milky's endgame. So you're basically just generating resources just to generate resources and to get like compression.
I mean, it's notable in that you play like 17 different level 3s or something.
No, that's all the options.
It's unique. That's a unique thing. That's not necessarily a notable thing.
It's special. It's special.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
I think Milky does still run you over if it does reasonably well.
Of course,
it's probably
if
just
your
an
meta
A-tier
is
deck.
unprepared for Milky, then by all means. But like, I think a lot of top decks also just can attack Milky where it hurts. Like level 0 is a huge pain point, and a lot of decks right now, not even good decks, are really good at level 0, because that's the direction Bushiroad has chosen to take when they design new sets. Now they give really good level 0 pluses to a lot of decks, even like Gurren Lagann, right? You can leverage an advantage with Gurren Lagann against Milky because their level 0 is just so bad. Because Gurren Lagann has Ricky Runner, and Milky doesn't.
Gurren Lagann is confirmed better than Milky Holmes, so Milky Holmes sits somewhere in A tier, I presume.
Yes, that's like its gimmick is still strong enough, I think.
All right, let's talk about Attack on Titan.
Yes.
A deck which has seen very little play in Japanese. But it just won Worlds and also came second at Worlds and also came third at Worlds.
I believe it was
Apparently,
pretty good deck.
Like 12
apparently the Japanese
12 out
have
of
woken
14,
up to Eren as a card.
Well, I'm gonna miss Attack on
because of
Titan.
English Worlds?
Yeah, I won't say it is, but you know, the timing is certainly very convenient, isn't it?
I'm gonna say it is, and
I
think
those Japanese people were like, "Hey, that Riaz Muhammad guy seems pretty smart."
he's got a sweet jacket too. That's probably factored into how they're viewing the card. Either way, Attack on Titan is one of the best decks right now in Japanese, I think. I think it's a solidly S tier deck that is seeing very little play because it does not have waifus and has like whiny, less than Kirito tier protagonist as its main level 1 combo.
Maybe people just can't get the climaxes.
No, they can. That's why they play Krista.
Oh, you're right. No, what if they can't get the wins?
Yeah, good point. It's because they can't find the physical copies of the winged climaxes that they're not playing it. That's probably it. Yeah, you got me.
They're still in the box.
Yeah, they like
Alright,
open
so
all the double R's, and all the packs remaining in the box are the wins, but they don't want to open those packs because there's no double R's.
Like, I legitimately believe Attack on Titan is an S tier deck. I think that its level 1 combo is honestly pretty abusive. I think its finisher is extremely good. Um, in Japanese, it has a few more hurdles to overcome, but honestly, you can craft your hand to deal with those hurdles just fine.
It has
I
everything
think
it
that
needs.
yeah, it does
Yeah.
have everything it needs. It has reasonable mill. It has good finisher. It has a very good level 1 combo, just an unreasonably good level 1 combo, and
I think it's
yeah, it even has
closest.
good utility.
It's like closest thing. It's like a feature complete deck almost. There is
Yeah.
very little that it lacks.
I mean, there are cards it lacks, but those are all luxuries, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, like in terms of like crucial deck function, you know, it's not missing anything notable. I think and it's
Agreed.
strong in the right ways, right? It's we mentioned all of that. So
It's beautiful. It's a work of art. I love it.
I've always
I'm
been
not
an Attack
even-
on Titan fan.
I've always been a fan of the set 2 Attack on Titan deck. The anime is pretty whatever.
Didn't even watch the anime.
What do you? I've watched like half of it. That's how whatever it was.
I watched like half of the first season.
Yeah, that's half.
There's a season 2, dude.
Yeah, so
all right.
look. It just got
Can you
a little
specify
gay
Eren?
for
Like,
me.
specify Eren, please,
Got a little gay for me, and that should
oh.
say a lot.
because you've seen some of the Japanese lists running Krista level 1 combo, and the top end is 4
Hot
Mikasa
kickers.
heals,
And
1
hot
Armin,
kickers.
3. Yeah, like their top end is. I'm sorry, Japan, but you don't know how
Oh
to
no,
build
they play
Attack on
the
Titan.
Levi, don't they? The restander.
They play
They
Levi.
play
They
top.
play the old cancel burn, Aaron. They play all these
The cards
interesting
they play are
cards.
so garbage.
I remember doing research when Attack on Titan came out, since it was a dual release, and I was still trying to figure out a list before I just copied UA's card for card, and I was like, oh, I'll just check Twitter, and it was a very confusing experience.
If nothing else, the man does know how to handle Titans. That was supposed to be some sort of innuendo, but it didn't come out nearly as sexual as I wanted it to be.
It was just
Either
really
way.
Yeah, I
weird.
think it's your delivery. You have to just like be more seductive.
Sorry, I'm not a very sexy person. All right, next let's talk about. All right, I want to talk about KonoSuba actually. That's an
Okay.
interesting one.
Is it
So
okay? Post set 2, obviously.
So I recently had the privilege of listening to a cast I should have been on, but couldn't be on because of rolling blackouts, and it was really weird. Yeah, that's just a little story. It doesn't have anything to do with the cast right now. Magic does seem pretty good though. I'm not sure about the exact construction of the deck. I'm pretty sure you don't play the new Union combo. That card is ass. But everything else, I think you just put in there. Like you put the Advanced Summon Megumin in, you put some of the Union in as a heal, and then you play Wiz, and hopefully your opponent dies.
That Megumin is really cool.
Ever since I started thinking of it more as a 2-1 beta, I've come around to it. Thinking of it as anything else, just I'm not a big fan. It is a 2-1. That is what it is. It still has all this cool stuff at level 0. Like it's got plussing stuff. It's got a drop salvager which doubles as a runner. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, look, the primary function of this quote unquote runner is actually to ditch a climax and salvage a card, in my opinion. Then you've got like brainstorms. You've got stuff that you want.
Yeah, on the Akatsuki, etc.
Has a good attack. Has a good
Yeah.
level 1 combo.
It has coin flip memes,
Let's not talk about coin flip memes.
but you have to play that card for the early play.
It's not a coin flip card.
It's not a coin flip. It's a 3/5.
No, but you like.
It doesn't bounce
It
back to
has-
your hand. It just rests.
Oh, it
has a-
just rests.
Yeah.
It has additional.
Oh, whatever. Okay, you plus for no reason. Ugh. Goodness.
So there's that. And I do think Wiz is extremely potent. Even if you don't have the climax, she's already as good as a lot of decks finishes. And she starts your opponent off at like 3-2 or something, as opposed to 3-0, which is very good. I don't know if it's S tier. I haven't played the deck. I don't know if its tools are good enough because its level 1 field is a complete joke, unless you want to make your whole deck a joke. Its advanced summon is not particularly, and you have to pay like a whole bunch of stock to do anything unless you only want like what are you gonna have, 2 9/5s with a support behind it? It's not terrible, I guess. It's got good finishes. Could be S tier, I don't know.
I think my biggest problem with the deck is that, unlike Attack on Titan, this deck's on-reverse finisher can be played around. There is no tool to save you from your opponent crashing cards as there is in that deck.
Oh, I mean that you can just sit Mikasa's there and your opponent will have to run into them eventually, right?
Well, no, I mean like you just deny crashes. You generate reverse targets in the mid game with gear if you want to. Like that's a very valid thing, right? You can't. It is impossible to deny reverses to that deck. It is actually just not possible. Assuming the Attack on Titan player is competent, I think it is very possible to deny reverses to this KonoSuba Magic deck.
But then that goes back to what I said earlier, right? That Wiz is just to come and play burn a lot of the time.
Sure,
and
but
that's
I mean,
already
is that
fine.
Good? I don't know if that's good enough to be S tier.
It's not good, but it's a fantastic it's a fantastic fallback strategy. And while you say that a lot of decks can deny that, realistically, you're probably going to get at least one reverse. Like that's probably what's going to happen. And in that sort of case, I do think Wiz is extremely good.
And we're talking about the Wiz restander?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just can't see it being S tier.
That's fine.
I can certainly agree that it's probably A tier.
Oh, certainly 18.
Yeah,
I don't think you can really argue against that.
I don't think it's like, so it has a really good it leads up really well, right? Like it has a really good core to it from early game going up to late game, but I just think that what do you call it? Since it's Tom said, it's easy to play around, but I don't think its end game merits an S tier rank, right? Like
if you get the reverses, I think it is good enough to be S tier. But the problem is, you need the reverses. The other thing about go ahead.
I was gonna say like the other decks, like I guess with the exception of Guardian that requires a reverse, but the other decks, I was gonna say like at worst the other decks can still do things, but
the Wiz still does something, right? That's
like what? Wait, it restands, right? What else does it do?
It's check top. It's flip top
Come and play
burn.
burn.
Oh, okay. They're just a single burn thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess so. If you can actually get the reverses off, yeah, okay.
The other thing about it is like Attack on Titan pluses a lot, so it can play this game. So the game plan with Magic, you typically do want to play the Megumin, right? The early play, like you want to actively play it onto the board. There is no such motivation in Attack on Titan because your level 1 combo is so ridiculous that you can just start, bleeding hand at level 2, and it doesn't even matter. You can play against any sort of deck in any meta, and as long as you get your reverses, you're totally fine just sacking hand for stock to use at level 3 for your combo. I don't think you can say the same thing about KonoSuba. I think it has to play early plays, and I think that in and of itself detracts from Wiz. It's still good. I just don't. I think there's a lot more that has to happen for Wiz to be truly potent.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I've got no issue with it being A2. All right. Do you think anything else in KonoSuba is worth tiering? Is goddess like the restand at level 2 is still a thing?
I don't think
you
Goddess
play
is
you play
What about that cancel during
Veneer
peak?
and Darkness at level 1,
No.
and then you win the friggin' game.
Okay.
So nothing else in KonoSuba is worth tiering.
No, you can put
That
stuff
sounds
in
like
B
an
tier,
S tier
maybe.
strategy to me.
Put goddess in B tier, I guess. You sack some wins with restands.
Okay. Bang Dream?
Bang
Yeah, that's what I was
think-
going to talk about next. Is that an S tier deck? Is it? If we talk about KonoSuba needing reverses, okay, first let's establish what we're talking about. We're talking about the 8 Arisa top end that Japan seems to
Oh
like,
god. Okay.
or are we
yeah.
talking about? Are we talking about the popping party into Yukina deck that has been vaguely theory crafted by people? Which one?
We can talk about both. No reason not to talk about both.
Yeah.
Talk about the
Which one first? Which one
Arisa
first?
first. Let's go Arisa first.
Yeah.
That deck is like a lamer guardian. Like a lamer Japanese guardian.
Who is Arisa?
She's the Twin Tails.
She's the drummer.
She's the blonde.
She's the blonde. Crap.
Poppin' Party, Twin Tails.
She's the bassist. No,
Minus
No,
Soul.
no,
no.
she's the sorry. She's the
I think
Other-
she's the drummer, right?
she's
No.
the drummer. Yeah, she's the drummer.
Yeah, she's the drummer.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
drummer.
Okay. I know who we're talking. No, she's keyboard.
Keyboard.
Is she keyboard?
Oh god. Yeah,
She's keyboard.
Sai is the drums. Holy crap.
Oh yeah.
Saya
yeah.
is the okay. I know what character and what deck we are talking about now. I just want
Yeah.
to get that out of the way.
The minus soul deck.
Yes.
And she also has the on-front attack trap change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the revenge burn thing. That's also
Revenge
a
of the
healer.
Burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is like a less good guardian, kind of.
Yeah.
If
It
you-
also needs target too
Yeah.
for the minus soul part, right? So if you have like things like Armin or things that give hexproof like LB, you lessen or Yami like it loses effectiveness.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
in the sense of that strategy.
sure.
He's right.
Yeah. I was more referring to like comparing the swimsuit Arisa to Shizuru.
Okay.
Kotori, don't you mean?
No,
No.
talking about the
No,
revenge
talking
burn.
about
I'm
the
comparing to
revenge
revenge
burn.
burn.
Revenge
'cause-
burn,
yeah,
revenge
yeah, yeah.
burn,
To
revenge burn. Okay,
to
whatever.
Shizuru. It's like
SGS card.
Sure. Look, so that's fair enough. Where does it go?
this deck. I think it's probably B
B
tier.
tier, right?
I think
What do you
it's
do at
B
level
B
one?
tier?
What do you do at
We're
level
gonna go
1?
B tier? Isn't
I
it
think it's B
the pop and party crap? Or-
What exactly?
No,
do
the
you do?
Arisa deck.
What does it do at level 1? Just kind of sits there,
Is
right?
it Yukina?
'Cause I've seen standby. I've seen Yukina.
You just do a level 1 thing, like any level 1. Choose a level 1 combo. Maybe? No, sorry. You don't do anything. You don't do anything. Maybe you play
Just
for
play walls, right?
play
This
for
deck's-
field.
Oh wait,
this
no.
deck sucks.
Wait. Isn't this the standby deck?
That's what I'm saying.
Did
Like,
you
I've seen people stand by the 2-1 and just
Wait, you
change to level
can't-
3 or level 1.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's what you do.
Wait, you can't play standby in this. Oh wait, sorry. This is the. Yeah, you do play standby.
This is not the
This
yeah,
is
you play
do
standby in
you play
this deck.
standby. Yeah.
Standby.
So you stand by.
This
You
is
stand by into the
standby
2-1.
8 Arisa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the 2-1 trap changes into the revenge burn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think what doesn't 2-1 can the 2-1 side attack without soul penalty?
it resonates with the level 3.
Okay, okay.
Spicy.
It's solid. Um, it just doesn't have a lot of what makes Guardian really strong. Namely, like, I'll continue to compare it to Guardian, namely the Japanese Guardian. It doesn't have a remotely close level 0 game. It doesn't have an alternate win con in terms of like the stock generation that leads to compression. All it really has is the -2 soul plan and the revenge burn. And maybe like, standby. That's cool, but I don't think it's just like a really lame Guardian.
Standby sucks. It's probably okay in this deck because you're cheating out a
Yeah.
advanced summon, but standby still sucks. Alright, yeah, you can tier it in B. I have no objection to that. What about the Yukina top end build? Not Roselia, but instead the one with what's her name?
Kasumi. The with using the promo, right? In the 1-0 red event.
Kasumi.
Yeah.
I think that deck's pretty good.
I think it's like A tier, and the fact that you can guaranteed at least one Yukina, that's the same damage output as 2 Shizers. Because they can't counter you, or I mean, unless the thing bounces back to 10 by itself, you can't stop at least one of them.
My opinion on that deck has changed significantly since I thought about that Remy, that 1-0 global thing that lets you shift your field around.
Mm-hmm.
You can essentially just deny crashes too, in a less powerful way than AOT, but I think it's somewhat similar.
Okay, so has your opinion gone up or down?
It's gone up. I thought it wasn't.
So.
Yeah. Like, I think it's not that much of an issue for this combo to get a reverse, and so in that vein, I think the deck gets a lot better, but it's also missing a lot to be an S tier deck, I think.
And like we talked about in the Bang Dreamcast, Yukina it's hard to even get 2 of her off, really.
Yeah, it's just like so incredibly resource intensive.
So it ultimately ends up being like any other deck's full field of finishes, but in one slot. So yeah, it's better because you don't have to kill multiple things or whatever, but other decks were doing that without reverses.
Yeah.
So yeah, A seems fine. Right. What else are we going to talk about?
Kimono?
Yeah, sure. Kimono Friends. God.
Which, there are a few builds. I guess
so we've got the Japanese.
Yeah.
We've got the Japanese standby plus gate deck. I still don't know what those decks actually do. Like the one at Japanese Nationals was a confusing hodgepodge. I haven't looked at it very closely. I'm sure there are good reasons behind all those builds because it looks like a tuned deck. That's one thing I could see by looking at it. It did look tuned, but as to the exact reason behind all the cards, I have not thought about it very hard.
Wait, are you talking about the deck that won?
Yeah.
Wasn't
yeah.
that
I mean, no,
Bardor?
It was Bardor.
Wait,
yeah.
Wait, what?
The deck that won JP Nats was Gold Bar Door deck.
No, not. I didn't mean that one. I must have seen this somewhere else. It looked weird. It had like a bunch of 2-ofs and 1-ofs, and a lot of the cards seemed suboptimal. But yeah, whatever. There's all these builds running around as well, aren't there? Because the ones that topped at US Nats, shout outs to Mr. Paddy Wagon and Ryosuke
Takeuchi.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah. I love the way he draws Doritos.
I've always been a fan of Ryosuke Takeuchi.
Their builds are Lucky Beast Waifu, effectively, set up to abuse that particular 1-0. And then you've got the quote-unquote typical Japanese lists that I was kind of alluding to. It's like the standby gate decks.
Yeah. I mean, they operate very similarly.
Those decks. Yeah.
Yeah. The core of the deck is like pretty samey. You play Dolphins, you play Alpaca, you stock charge, and essentially the deck is set up to take advantage of cancels in the mid game. If it gets those cancels, it will go off really hard. If it doesn't get those cancels, it kind of just loses really miserably. The only reason why this deck works is because Kaban shuts off your most opponent, like most of the good end game cards. That's starting to change though. We're seeing a lot of different effects at level 3 being released recently that ignore Kaban entirely.
I don't even think it's recent. Ever since Guardian, it's just been nothing but
sure,
burn
yeah,
twos.
But they're printing more of those.
Attack
like,
on Titan.
Attack on Titan is completely walled out by Kaban unless you play the unless you play Arrow.
Eight wins. Let's go.
I think that deck is a pretty okay matchup, but it has a better matchup against that deck than the other Burn 1 decks, but yeah. It's
Star Wars.
Star Wars
Jabba
is
the
pretty much
Hutt.
walled out.
What about
You're gonna have to rely on Musashi.
I am just naming Burn 1 decks that came out after Guardian. There aren't a lot.
Chain Chronicle.
I don't remember what that deck does
Just cancel
or where
burns.
it's supposed to be tiered.
Iliad.
I think Kimono.
Kaleidoscope.
Look, I think Kimono is a solid. You said after. Well, I think
Well,
Kimono
yeah,
is a
there's
solidly
a
A-tier deck.
booster, and now Kaleidoscope's broken.
I think people do get affected a lot by Kaban, and people still probably underrate Alpaca. Now see, we're talking about. I mean, it's nothing new for us to be talking about builds that aren't played anywhere else, right? So yeah, A is probably fine. On the topic of builds that aren't played anywhere else, what about ReZero?
Which build? I think they're both A tier.
I play
well-
play against the Roswell Puck deck so much. Don't say it's not played anywhere else.
What?
Is
No,
that
no,
what you
I'm-
is that what you meant by like
he
it's
meant
not
he
played
meant,
anywhere
he meant
else?
the yellow-blue deck. I think.
Oh,
Stock sold book.
I think both decks are A tier.
A tier. That sounds about right.
they're solid.
I don't know.
I think that the Roswell Park package is very good at beating Sunshine specifically. I don't have much
Aha.
other. I don't have anything else in terms of opinions on it.
You'd be surprised how some of the people at my locals play that deck.
Felt Rim, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which used to still A tier, I think.
Specifically,
what type of good user?
finisher choice.
The counter choice is all that's played, you know.
Well, I think the finisher choice belongs there. I don't know about the counter choice.
Well, I mean, now you can play counter choice with the new booster
Oh
because you
no!
play the
Stop!
you-
Stop it!
you
Stop!
No,
Oh,
no. No, you play. Okay, watch it. This is like a 18 stock play.
Oh,
You
no.
play the Rize, pay 6, burn 5 on attack with the Chino restand another character from Dear My Sister. So you, with a modest investment of 12, 14, 16. Okay, maybe you only need like 13 stock to do this. But you get 2 burn 5s on attack. Oh no, I think you
Randall,
need like 15
why?
stock.
Why, Randall? Why, Randall? Why?
Because when I read that, I like genuinely laughed, and so I knew it was a special combo.
That's one way to put it.
Also,
I
if
think
you
good
ever call
choice
me
is still
Randall
A
again,
tier.
I will slay
What
you.
about counter choice? Do we rate? Is counter choice tiered?
I think counter choice sucks, but Japan will continue playing it because they like the ability to deny reverses and hate Attack on Titan because, you know, logic. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't played it. I haven't played against it. I don't know what it's like.
I mean, like
I don't think it's on the same level as the B tier decks we have already.
Yeah.
I agree. It definitely does not seem like it is that.
maybe we can revisit it later when B tier is more filled out.
Okay, we'll eventually
Okay.
forget about it.
Let's keep going. Project
Project
Diva.
Diva, yeah. I think it's A tier.
Project Diva.
Yeah,
Oh,
I actually have
come
no idea what that set does right now.
It's S for Samson too.
Like,
They gave it
what
a
is the build
Jinsu.
doing?
So, like, Jinsu makes soundless voice the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen.
I don't. Yeah, it's like that. It's so weird because like that event is so strong. Uh, it
But then
kind of just
everything
lets
else
you.
sucks,
It
right?
kind of just yeah. It kind of just lets you do whatever the heck you want before level 2.
Oh, the blue of it?
Yeah, on the
The
back of
boom-
on the back of like that card in your hand, you can do a lot of things with
You mean
your
the double mill
resources.
card?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the double camera or
but then
whatever
Yeah,
you
like
want
yeah,
to call it.
basically, yeah.
but then you get to level 3 and it's not that special. I think it's
It's a
actually
bunch of
pretty.
threes, like a bunch of hits for three. That's all I've really
Hey
seen it
man,
do.
it's the OG Dear My Sister meme. You get to replace climaxes in the climax zone.
Oh, they're talking about the Miku finisher that was released. Okay.
Yeah. There might be a more optimal way to play level 3 in that deck, but so far I don't know if one has presented itself.
I've not tested this deck at all, so
Uh, I've only played enough of it to get a sense of like how it works. It's really, really awesome until level 3, but then once you get there, the finisher is just not that amazing. They're not that like the top end just doesn't get there, right?
fair enough. Okay, sure, that
Yeah.
seems good. Let's talk about Persona 5.
Well, where does it go? Project Diva.
Oh, Project Diva. S for Samson.
Realistically,
A10.
Realistically, eh? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a sweet one.
Next deck. Sorry.
Persona 5.
Persona 5.
Persona 5.
Can I put it in B tier? Can I just
Yeah.
make that?
It is a squarely B tier, I think.
Doesn't do anything. The 5, like the 8. I say this as someone who loves Persona 5. I don't know how many hours I spent on the game, how long I spent trying to optimize the Weiss deck. I think it sucks right now.
Which
Yeah.
build? Both builds? I guess both builds. Are B tier.
Both builds are there. 8 gates, or like the 7 Ks, I guess, are what define the other deck. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Where is Vivid Strike? Where do you think Vivid Strike is at?
I hate that deck.
I think it's what? What the heck, dude?
Yeah, that's why he hates it.
You love that deck.
Yeah,
It's A tier, I think.
I love my Vivio waifu deck. That is
Uh,
the most fun I have playing Vivid Strike.
that level 3 combo is sweet. It's like a weird deck because its level 3 is so easily dealt with by most of these like good decks, but
Let's clarify what sort of philosophy we're following with Vivid
yeah,
Strike, because
sure.
the Japanese decks they don't even have the option to triple field Fuka. They just play a sort of mid-rangey sort of thing, and just Ironhearts and attempt to heal down and don't all of the things I've seen from them are usually those builds. And I've never seen 4 Fuka in a deck, even in the 8 bar deck, where they somehow managed to not play 4 Fuka. It's really impressive of them, actually.
Yeah. They definitely. Well, I think for.
I think the problem with
At least when the set came out, right? Gochiusa was still like a thing, and I think trying to play that Western strategy of Fuka MLG, like starting at level 2, just plays awkwardly against Gochiusa, and maybe by the time Gochiusa got hit, they liked where the deck was at or something. I don't know. Is that like a possible thought process?
Hard to say. I'm just not convinced that they really took advantage of the deck's strengths, which is odd because it's Vivid Strike. I assume Japan of all places would love that deck. Yeah, not hard for not. It's hard for me to say where I would put it from the data we have. From my perspective, I think it's an A tier deck.
Yeah, I think it's A as well.
It's a 7 climax in hand deck,
7.
and it's pretty fun to live dangerously. Generally, I have a good time with the green deck. It's just or green blue, I guess. Green or green blue, whichever I decide to build when I want to play that version. It's just comical sometimes how many bars I can get in my hand, and having like one brainstorm out does not fix that issue. Like, it's pretty sweet. Not a real complaint. It's just like 8 bar is sometimes a crazy ride.
Max advantage, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you just lose to 8-2 Soul Madoka.
Just because 8-2 Soul Madoka is broken, not because of Vivid Strike.
I think well, it's not Vivid Strike. It's just having a lot of climaxes in your hand. I'm not trying to imply anything about Chitoge 1 tier Nisekoi. Nice. I just saw that. I love that meme. What's another Weiss Schwarz deck?
What's another what? Set to talk about? I think we should just put Kantai in B tier.
Sure.
I think that's actually generous.
I think I'd rather play Kantai than Persona.
Yeah.
Look, I went on record once.
I would rather.
No.
I would
Are
definitely
you
play
saying
Persona
no? You don't think
two.
I would do that?
Well, I'm saying I wouldn't. I think.
Star Wars.
Sure.
Star Wars is
4-color
Star
Star
Wars?
Wars.
Star Wars is an enigma.
I want to play that deck so bad. I want to know what that deck plays like.
Too bad.
You know what's funny?
Can't.
Japan's dropped blue from their decks. They mostly just play the red advanced summon now.
Oh no, I'm playing 4-color. I need to know what that feels like. I am intoxicated with looking at that deck just because I'm so confused and curious and all these complex emotions. It's beautiful.
I think Star Wars is a high B, low A deck. I don't think we're actually writing anything in order, but I think it's somewhere around there.
Also, I have to play
Yeah.
Luke. I have to play Mark Hamill, my husbando of choice.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba is waifu. Okay.
I guess since time has passed, we could put Kill la Kill in B tier.
Has it ever been anything but B tier?
I mean, on your last list, y'all put it at A tier.
I guess I was high then.
Everyone else
that
might
list
have just
also had
bullied you.
that list had like A plus and like all those
Yeah,
other
it had
things,
like
right?
A minus and all that stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I love Kill la Kill. I adore Kill la Kill.
I think it's probably in the same like consideration as Star Wars. You know, low A, high B.
I think Kill la Kill is like you know how schools have a special class? I think Kill la Kill is a special class student.
Kill la
Like-
Kill tier.
like a
my
little slow but absurdly strong.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Like R word strength. Dude, when I play Kill a Kill, I feel like I have R word strength.
It's like I play Kill la Kill, and then I'm playing some stupid ass field deck, and I don't have a counter in hand, and then my level 1 dies. I'm like, why am I not just playing LB if I was going to lose my field anyway? Eh.
Ah, speaking of losing your field, you got Puyo Puyo.
Oh, God.
No. No.
Right. Christian Jarbaka thinks this is a top 10 deck. I do not agree.
Go.
Is that even though he thinks a lot of things?
He thinks.
He thinks
Yeah.
Milky is top 3.
He's
With
allowed to
what?
think that.
Of course he is.
I'm allowed to think.
I
I'm
wasn't
allowed to
passing
think he's
judgment
wrong.
at all. I'm just, you
Wait,
know,
what is it
I
top 3
was.
with?
Probably like
rewrite
Tularu
and
and
Tularu, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's allowed to think whatever he wants, but
I mean, it's a free world, probably.
I don't even think Puyo's A tier.
yeah,
I think too much.
I think it's
Aside
B
from
tier.
Arl specifically, there's way too much that already does what Puyo does. Puyo has the same Puyo actually just has the same problems as Gurren Lagann, but it's better than Gurren Lagann, obviously. It just doesn't have free mill. Its level 2 to 3 plan is really, it's like really patchwork, not very good. It's do or die. I guess at least Gurren Lagann can like heal a bit. And yeah, I honestly don't. Yeah, like even decks like LB and Tularu have ways of getting out of really bad situations if they draw the right cards. I just don't think Puyo has any of those cards, and I do not count that one-of refresh that
but
you
what if
sometimes
you
play.
run 3 of them?
Then I think you're actually running Kimono Friends. Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, but that card's really, really good.
I'm also not
I'm
convinced
a Kill
Puyo
a Kill
can
player.
just-
I have to say that card is good.
I can't believe I didn't see that card the first time I did a deck list for it, and now it's just that I don't even know his name anymore.
Oh, it's,
Mohawk guy.
It's the Apache Chief.
Red Man's Revenge.
No, no.
Mohawk guy.
You see, that's just absurdly racist.
What?
Oh, speaking of Red Man's Revenge, where do we put Fate?
It's
Not on the list.
Okay, dude. Nice joke. You're causing me so
Shoutouts.
much pain. Right
Shoutouts
now.
to
Ilya?
Alexander Scheifler.
Ilya is
Where's
not.
Ilya?
I don't think Ilya is right.
It's gotta be S tier. Dude, I
what?
played the
Prismalia?
S for small.
I played the set 3. I played the new extra booster Vive form deck for the first time the other day, and it was a pleasant experience.
I guess Y form can be B tier. It's in the same neighborhood as these other decks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems about right.
It's talk about a deck that may be a little bit harder. Well, not really hard to place, but 765.
Oh, that's A tier.
What the?
We got this favoritism going on.
It's A tier, no questions asked.
There's no hesitation.
Question
I say
asked,
this.
why is it A tier?
Uh,
Bet you didn't expect that one.
well, crap, you got me.
Got him. Got him.
Fraudish.
It still has amazing payoff at level 3, and its level 1 still has the ability to give you like a +2 from a single lane, which I think is really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
I think
like
that's fair.
Yeah.
the deck can generate pluses in a way that lets it sack level 2 for its incredibly powerful level 3 plays, similar to Attack on Titan.
That's really interesting. I would really like to get the opinions of someone I know who has played Idolmaster possibly more than anyone else that I can imagine.
Talk about me?
No, I'm talking about Paru.
Oh god. Oh.
But he's not here, so maybe this could be a private discussion. We can leave Idolmaster at A tier. Shoutouts to Park. Shoutouts to Penguin Facts.
Shoutouts to Penguin Facts.
Speaking of penguins, I guess we should B tier Excel World.
Wait, what penguins in Excel World?
Penguin
No,
420
it's-
strictly broken here.
Oh,
UA.
right. He likes that deck, doesn't he?
I think that deck is sweet.
Which deck?
Excel World.
People are allowed to think what they want.
Solidly A tier.
A for Excel World.
I want it to be A tier, but it's not. See?
It
Easy.
accelerates down to the B tier. That's what happens.
Is it even? I don't know if I'd rate it.
I don't even
I don't
know
think it's
really what
rated.
you're supposed to be played at this point.
I don't think it's rated. It
I
just
think not
doesn't-
rating it is
It's
a very
C tier for
diplomatic way to do
competent.
that.
It's C tier for competent.
C is for clown.
Speaking of C's, Chain Chronicle?
Connor Chronicle.
What is that deck? I played Connor's deck one time in Nats, and I forgot what all the cards do.
It was like mono yellow, right?
There was like a blue card that milled a bunch and burned, and I was like, wow, that's weird.
It's like in the same neighborhood as Puyo, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
about it. I don't
Oh.
think we need to say much else about it.
I also lost to Red Yellow Chain, so that was cool.
So do we rate Railgun?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
One Nats, S tier.
A for America.
Shouts to Juno.
S for SoCal.
S for JKTCG.com.
I think it's A.
Yeah.
I think it's A.
What? Dude, no way.
Yeah.
I feel really uncomfortable with that.
And
I love
Railgun.
No.
All right.
No way.
It's S tier. You got me.
Oh,
You
got
got me.
him.
If
Oh,
Railgun is A tier,
I mean-
Kill a Kill is A tier.
Yeah, that's what I think. If
Yeah.
Railgun's A tier, then Persona 5 moves up, Chain Chronicle moves up, Star Wars moves up. I mean, come on, man.
All right.
Man,
I'm a man of the people.
Realistically, come on.
Yellow, green,
No,
blue.
It's B.
Yellow, green,
Oh,
blue.
oops. Oh god. That was
Nice.
that was a
Red
Freudian
versus
YGR.
Railgun.
Freudian
There you go.
Freudian slip.
Redness.
Skyraker
Holy,
finisher
that was
incoming.
awesome. It's actually
Dude,
just
he's
indexed
spot
with
blue for the
Satin
free
Ray standards.
It's so bad.
Dude, I love
Oh my
healing
God.
magic. It's my favorite card.
Man, I just thought of a deck. But
I have summoned Hyoka's the field with Mikoto combo before. It didn't feel awful.
that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, to be honest.
Man, I
Um,
thought of a set. And
To Capo?
DC.
Kino Logic.
Oh man,
Oh yeah,
I think it's B tier.
there's new sets.
The
on.
Capo?
I think DC is B tier. I wish it was A tier.
It is hard to place that deck right now.
My
I mean,
It's
it's
to
like
be continued till the new
LB, right?
set.
It's
Where-
like
where
LB,
does-
that's get a new set? S tier.
yeah.
where does my baby go? Where do my brain
Which
children
build
go?
of Capo, or are they all in the same? You know.
Shoot, I don't know
Charles
what
waifu. Himeno waifu.
Coco
Hot Pot.
Waifu.
Yep, Coco waifu, because that one
I
beat
think
Himeno waifu.
Just
a
put
fair
like
battle.
Seitokai. I feel like
I think Seitokai newspaper are like the same.
sure Seitokai newspaper.
Yeah.
They're like the same deck. With
I
like
mean, there's
two
so much
different
overlap
things.
between the two, right?
Sure.
They're
What about
overlapping
Nabe?
gameplay.
Sympho Gear. Sympho
Nabe
Gear.
is
Yeah, some of you guys
Um,
probably B tier.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I think that's
This-
probably
this-
correct.
parentheses Uncle Butt's
Tsubasa.
specials.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we haven't done the Hina Logi
Billion
volume
Maiden.
2.
Billion Maiden. Put Billion Maiden there.
Stop that.
No,
I know we.
Look, if Thomas gets Idolmaster in A tier, I get Billion Maiden in B tier. And if you get Little Busters in S tier, I get Billion Maiden in B tier.
In fairness, you said Little Busters S tier before I said anything.
Yeah, because I was making fun of you. And what was the first thing you said?
Ooh,
You were like, and that being said, Little
Got
Busters
him.
in S tier?
got him.
But you. I don't think I'm
Tiger.
wrong though. That's the thing. Whereas
I
Billion
don't-
Maiden is like, what does that do?
You get to play an out of stock
You
climax.
play -1 soul combos.
Billion Maiden is literally Little Busters. It's an impossible to get green climax with a 2 soul trigger. Or the alternative is playing an on-color climax that gives 2k power and 1 soul.
Oh God.
Yeah, you got me.
Just
You
put
got
Billion
me.
Maiden. I bet nobody cares.
Billion
except for
Maiden.
me.
Oh,
Who's even watching?
somebody.
We could just put any deck in here, right?
Shout outs to Kid King.
Put Dog Days.
Yes.
Put Dog Days
yes.
if we're going to put
dude,
any deck.
Dude,
No, stop.
oh, dude,
No,
Babe
stop
B for
that, stop that.
bitchin'. That deck is
No,
awesome.
stop the stupid names.
See,
where-
I convinced Thomas Dog Days
Dude,
is
that
good.
that deck is awesome. That
But
that deck is S tier. Holy crap.
do you need me to pull the Fates copy paster out? Because if you just replace Master
we
and
could just-
Servant with
you wanna start
Animal
a- you
Hero,
wanna start a
it's
copy
like the same
paste
thing.
No,
tier
it's
list?
not. I've actually saved Dog Days. I know it sounds crazy, but much like I saved Billion Maiden, I saved Dog Days.
No, based on our
So- so
conversations
is-
over the last 2 years, I don't believe you.
So is the
When-
Fate
when-
meme copy paste to S tier and on the meme tier list?
All right, stop that. Hina logic. Where's it go?
I don't know actually how to evaluate that deck.
I
It's so
I
actually
feel
don't
like
know
it has
first
to be
that-
B at highest, right?
I don't know
it's
about that. I think
It's
it's
so
I
weird.
think that the
I think
trance
I think
trance
Trance
summon's
is really
actually
good.
very good.
Yeah, I think it's set up really well to take advantage of Trance in a way
wait,
that no
there's
other
a
deck
second
can.
set.
Yeah, there's second set, dude. And it has some really
I'm
good cards.
sorry. I didn't mean to be so mean to Hino Logic.
I mean, just the first set alone, though, right?
I think
Like,
it's actually A tier.
I
Fuck,
don't
this
know
guy
about
still hasn't
that.
put
First set
Billion
alone is
Maiden
garbage.
down.
First set.
Can we just make this a question mark tier?
I mean, we can just say Hina logic, and then we can put some question marks behind it. We don't need a new tier.
Sure.
So from what I hear, Japan really likes this deck. And when they really like something, it's usually like A tier at worst, and then it's Persona 5. But that's a
GG
completely
incoming
different
next
story.
ban list.
Yeah. Okay, what have we missed? Is there anything good that we've actually missed?
Billion Maiden.
Good? I don't know about good.
Okay, put his
Sets-
Billion Maiden there so he stops talking about
Sets
it.
we missed
Thank
is
you,
like
that's all I
IMAX,
wanted.
G, Charlotte, Fate is
Okay,
neither.
so
but it's
B
either-
for
Charlotte?
Billion Maiden.
Can I rant about Charlotte? Can I
Sure.
just rant about Charlotte for a moment? And how Japan freaking insists on putting it in their good but unplayed section of their tier lists, like their 2-chan tier lists or whatever.
So
It
it's
is
like their
constantly
version of
there.
LB.
Yes, actually. It is. It's that unlike LB, it's not actually good.
Dude, I bet they say the same thing about LB. Unlike LB, Charlotte's actually
Yeah, they're like,
good.
hey, those English speaking fucks, they always put LB in their tier list, like how we always put Charlotte in our tier list. But unlike
Maybe
LB,
they're
Charlotte is
trolling
actually
us.
good.
Maybe they're actually just trolling us because I can't think of a reason why. But yeah, they always have Charlotte there, and I don't understand it because the deck never does anything in Japan, kind of like Little Busters. The deck doesn't really see any play anywhere, even at local levels, kind of like Little Busters. And
The anime
actually,
sucks,
that's about all.
just like Little Busters.
Yeah, that's good. Fair enough. We'll go with that. The anime sucked.
Fuck, what's his name? Jun Maeda's Wild Ride. That's another thing they have in common.
I think Little Busters was a much better narrative than whatever Charlotte was.
That's
But
because the
that's
Charlotte
not
VA isn't out yet, dude. Or VN isn't
the
out.
VN. I don't want to read a Charlotte VN. Okay. So I don't think Charlotte gets on the list,
No.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Oh.
Charlotte were on the list,
Well,
I would fight tooth and nail for so many things.
Hmm.
Okay, so we've managed to not put Fate on the list. Again, shout outs to Mr. Paddy Wagon. I don't think Monogatari goes on the list. I don't think we put Nisekoi on the list.
No.
Love
Tengen, Toppa,
Live, probably
Gurren, Login?
E for drill tier. I'm not joking. Put in D tier. It's drills.
Oh, so he gets memes and I don't. Don't put
Yes.
Gurren Lagann.
Log Horizon probably not needed. Yeah, I think we covered everything worth covering. Like, unless you want to talk about Guilty Crown or Phantom.
I
God, said the P
can't.
word.
It's a little late to have my head spin. So,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
my head stopped spinning a couple years ago, honestly.
yeah.
Right.
Like,
So
my
I
head can
think
only
Gurren
spin
Lagann is
so
like the
much.
B tier set. I think it is actually just a B tier set. If everything goes right, it does similarly to all these B tier sets. And the
I don't. I don't think so.
yeah, honestly, I'm being very, very generous here. Like I'm being
Dude,
extraordinarily
you're so
generous here.
biased.
Of course I'm biased. Why wouldn't I be biased? It's Gurren fucking Lagann in Weiss Schwarz in 2018.
Yeah,
This
no,
is like
Godzilla along
meme.
with it.
This is
Dude, I can't wait
this
to
is
take on
meme
Godzilla
tier.
with my Gurren Lagann deck that doesn't exist.
Or with my Star Wars deck.
Yeah,
Look,
dude.
That's wild. Mm.
okay, this tier list. Does anyone have anything else that they want to talk about in regards to this Slapshot tier list?
No, I think we've been over everything that's relevant enough.
I don't think
There's
it's a
plenty
bad
of
tier list, honestly.
there's plenty of playable decks that we didn't say. They're just
Yeah.
in like take it to locals tier or lower.
Like
That's a good,
Kantai.
Yeah.
that's a good
pretty much.
tier.
Yeah, or
That's
Vividred
good.
Operation.
Or Love Live Sunshine.
Or Zero no Tsukaima?
Or Disguise.
Ew, Zero Note Skyma? Ew. Ew. Don't talk about Zero Note Skyma.
Or Katsunogatari?
I would like to see Love Live Sunshine somewhere on the list, but like, you know, with
Probably
the
just-
ban list, it's very difficult for me to really coalesce any ideas. And there's a new set coming out anyway, so I don't really want to
You're
coalesce
gonna
set
waste your
ideas.
breath, I think.
Mm.
just leave it unknown or just put it in B with like question marks next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair because like people will still probably play it. I mean, something idols.
Something
Love
something
Live?
double early play.
Yep.
Oh, you mean OG Love Live?
Oh no, like
Oh,
Thomas
I see.
wrote
I see.
Love
the
Live with a question mark.
Yeah, I see it.
I find. Well, I actually don't have experience with the sleeve promos for Muse.
It doesn't
They-
it doesn't elevate the deck.
Okay.
It doesn't elevate.
I mean, it helps it, but I don't think
It's,
it changes its tiering.
It still doesn't do anything at level 3. And it's still its best card is still the 2/1 Kotori. That's an early play killer. And
Oh, the
burns
burn.
one on attack. So yeah.
I think that card's
Well, that's a
OP.
sad life to live. Alright, well, if that's what we're going to cover, then I think we can probably wrap it up. Nothing too controversial here, aside from Little Busters and the lack of tiering of Excel World and Kiss Neither.
Billion.
I
made.
missed that meme already.
Yeah. Look, that's our tier list. Take it or leave it. It's really not the word of God, but it is what we think. And yeah, I think the ban list will do almost nothing to the meta aside from kill Love Live Sunshine. And then it'll probably come back in a couple months' time because people like their idols.
Or it's another Ilya Dry situation.
Or Nisekoi Sweet situation, right?
Or it gets
Or Love
played
Live
so much
2.
it gets hits again.
Dude. All right.
Okay, well, if that's all it
Okay,
is, then thanks for
okay.
watching. you're gonna read your 5-page novel on why Nisekoi is going to be saved.
Yeah, I'll have that out at the end of the month.
Okay, sure. We'll make sure you post it so we can link it in the description for fun times. Anyway, so if you enjoyed it, you can listen to our old setlist reviews and our old tier lists and banlist roundtables to see how our views have changed. I think we've mostly gotten more tolerant. And look, if you have any feedback about our much smaller cast this time, leave it in the comments or hit us up on Discord or on Global, where most of us I think are moderators. I say most of us. And
everyone but me is a moderator.
Nepotism.
Because you guys didn't want to add me to your cool club. Because I defected.
We had too many Americans already. We just had too many Americans, that's all.
Yeah. But you have 2 people from Texas.
What?
Yeah. Everything's bigger in Texas. We have to follow it.
Dude, we can't have another white guy on the admin team, okay?
I mean, we've got UA, so yeah, that's all the white we need. Alright, so again, feedback, criticism, memes, hype hike. You can leave them all in the comments below, and we'll get to responding because we're pretty good at that. If there's anything you want to see in terms of content, let us know. We might even consider it, but we are fairly busy people. We will have set reviews out at some point in the future. I'm going to make sure Gurren Lagann gets done. I don't know about Hina Logic because I'm not convinced anyone cares about Hina Logic. I could be convinced that people care about it, but we'll see.
Except for a certain dude who's at the gym right now.
He's always at the gym. It doesn't matter. We're never going to get that set review out because he's always at the gym.
Yeah.
So I think there's a hamster. It's like a hamster somewhere who kind of likes the set. Either way. Thanks for joining us. And look, we'll see you next time for our next set review. Or if you only watch these banlist videos, we'll see you sometime in August. This is Lachi Punit with all of Top Tier Tiers plus guests. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. And yeah, see you all around.